to the first edition of Mathiews and Mathiews in the Morning. I'm Griffin Mathiews.
And I'm Matt Keenan.
The news around the NFL is about the release of Peyton Manning on Wednesday. So why do you think the Colts released him?
Well, I think the Colts released Manning for many different reasons. I think the first one is that they're trying to save money for things like defense. They had a terrible defense last season. I think they could improve on that. And also, they need to get some good offensive linemen. So I think they could save money by getting rid of Peyton Manning on those different things. Secondly, we predict that they're going to get Andrew Luck in the draft. And Andrew Luck is set to be one of the most expensive rookies ever. So they need to save up for him. And thirdly, the Colts are looking for a young team. Jim Irsay's looking for a young team. And Peyton Manning just doesn't fit that young team like he wants. So I don't think anyone sees him on that team. So I think those are the reasons they got rid of Peyton Manning.
Then where do you think he'll land?
Well, I think Peyton Manning could land in a place like Denver for a start. Denver, he traveled there this week. He said he liked the facility, so that could be a possibility. They don't really have a star receiver there. So Peyton Manning always likes to have a star receiver. And Miami could be a great possibility because he owns a condo down there already, so he's set there. They have Brandon Marshall, who's a great receiver, so that's what he's looking for. And so I think that could work out. Arizona, they have a great wide receiver in Larry Fitzgerald, so just like the Dolphins, that could be another possibility. And finally, the Jets, I think they're out because they just signed Mark Sanchez to an extension. They're trying to prove a point that they want Sanchez and not Manning. So I don't think Peyton Manning is going to leave there or head there.
Then besides Manning, who do you think is the best free agent this year?
I think Mario Williams is one of the best free agents available. He's an explosive guy, in my opinion. He gets to the quarterback super fast. He turns a weak defensive line into a strong one. And the only problem with him is he's looking for a lot of money. So any team that can pay him the amount of money is going to have a star player on their team.
Where do you think he'll land?
I think Atlanta could be a possibility because they're going to it doesn't look like they're going to re-sign John Abraham, their top pass rusher. And also San Diego could be a possibility if they can get the money for him, which it doesn't seem like they will. So I think right now Atlanta's the front runner in the race there.
Do you think the Colts will probably release Wayne? And where will he land?
I think the Colts will release Wayne because, again, he's just like Manning. He doesn't fit that young team. And if he does leave the Colts, I think wherever he could go to or anywhere Peyton Manning goes, especially Miami, because the Dolphins always need another complement to go with Brandon Marshall. Also, Denver could be a good possibility, especially if Peyton Manning goes there, because the Broncos doesn't seem like they're going to re-sign Eddie Royal, and without him, they're going to have a very small depth of wide receivers. I think he could help out and give some veteran leadership on that team.
And what about Vincent Jackson? He hasn't been tagged by San Diego. People thought he would be. So let's say he doesn't stay with the Chargers. Where will he land?
Well, for Vincent Jackson, I think Miami, if Peyton Manning and Reggie Wayne don't go there, Miami could be a very good spot. He could go along with another guy like Brandon Marshall. He's never really been around another great wide receiver, so I think that could benefit him. And also, I think St. Louis could be a big possibility. They're looking for a big explosive wide receiver, and with the recent trade of the second pick to the Washington Redskins, no one really thinks that Justin Blackmon is going to fall to the Rams. So I think Vincent Jackson is a great selection or a great free agent pickup for the St. Louis Rams. I think that's a big possibility. And so now, for the Saints scandal, do you think the Saints should be penalized with draft picks or even more than that?
I believe they should be penalized like a first rounder in 2013 and possibly another first rounder in 2014 since they don't have a first rounder in 2012. They should be penalized because a bounty is actually hitting someone and it's trying to injure the other person's player. It's cheating and it goes against the NFL policy of that. And the biggest concern is player safety. You know, when he knocked out Kurt Warner, that looked really dirty. I mean, he was going, like, their defense recovered a fumble, and then one of their players just decked Kurt Warner to the ground, and it was a very malicious hit. So, if they wouldn't have injured Kurt Warner or Brett Favre, then they probably wouldn't have won the championship. But it would be too harsh to take away the championship of theirs.
Now to the NBA. What are some trades? Of course, the deadline is coming up this Thursday. So, what do you think what are some trades that could happen before the deadline starts?
I say Dwight Howard because they don't want to sign him to a long-term deal. They don't want to give him all this money. And that's the right thing to do. I mean, they're either going to, why not trade him and get something for him rather than let him go this summer and don't get anything. They need a couple more pieces in there, the Magic do, to be a real championship team. They're still not a championship team with Howard, but at least they could get there and still trade away Howard and not have to pay him that large contract. And I also believe the Lakers could trade Pau Gasol because their bench is really terrible. Their best guy averages about 4 or 5 points per game. And they could use maybe another power forward. And even Kobe doesn't have a good backup. Even the point guard, because Derek Fisher's not producing. I mean, he shoots the three, but he's older. And Steve Blake's getting older, and he's not that good. Maybe a clutch three in there once in a while.
All right, so for Jeremy Lin, he started off, when Linsanity first started, he was playing amazing. But why hasn't he been performing like he was lately?
I think it's all has to do with his teammates, because Carmelo is back, and he averages about 20 to 25 shots per game. And Amari Stoudemire still averages 10 to 15 shots per game. Those are two elite players who need their touches. And Lin wants to shoot the ball. He's not a real passer or anything. And he turns the ball over 3.5 turnovers per game. And he's not good going to his left. I mean, teams are forcing him left. They're trapping him in the pick and roll, so he's not able to get to his big guys. And that's what basically runs the Mike D'Antoni system.
Yeah, I agree. So now we're going to the NHL, to hockey. So who's performing well in hockey, the NHL right now?
I think it has to be Steven Stamkos. He leads the league in goals. He has 16 points in his last 10 games. And he's just an elite player. I mean, I wouldn't say as good as Gretzky, but he's really good. He has tons of speed coming into the offensive zone. He has an accurate slap shot that goes top shelf a lot. And he's a really good player. And I think he's the best player in the NHL.
I would have to agree. Right now, yeah.
And overall.
All right, so that's going to wrap it up on the first ever edition of Matthew and Mathiews in the Morning. So I'm Matt Keenan, and this is Griffin Mathiews. We'll see you next time on Matthew and Mathiews in the Morning on mgsnsports.com. Have a great day.